turmoil. It's the genesis of both political and military solutions. When my opponents stand confused, out of ignorance or through my designs, then I have been given free rein, and someone must bring order. For much of its history, the Free Worlds League struggled to capitalize upon the resources and industrial potential of its citizenry. Sometimes the League was referred to as a lesser cousin to the other great houses of the Inner Sphere. Fair or not in this appraisal, it really wasn't until the arrival of the clans that the industrial potential of the Free Worlds League was unleashed. With the Federated Commonwealth, Rosselhague Republic, and Draconis Combine fighting for their lives against the unrelenting onslaught of the clans, the Free Worlds League was left largely unbothered. There was, of course, the perpetual annoyance of the Capellan Confederation on the border of the League, but House Liao had suffered greatly following the Fourth Succession War. This gave the Free Worlds League room to breathe. With demand for military tech and a wide range of consumer goods outside of the League, it would have been downright unneighborly to not be willing to provide what was needed, with a healthy profit margin, of course. The story of the Bloodhound starts during these boom times for the Free Worlds League, and the plucky medium mech very much highlights the strong desire to make sure those good times were prolonged, heck or high water. When Captain General Thomas Merrick put out the call for a counter-insurgency battle mech tailored to meet the threat of a renewed conflict with the Capellan Confederation, Earthworks Incorporated on Keystone answered the call with the B-1 HND Bloodhound. Weighing in at 45 tons, the Bloodhound was conceptualized as a swift hunter that could chase down a wide variety of threats and apply a liberal amount of violence. It was constructed around an Earthworks PXH-4 Endosteel and Hermes 315 XL engine in order to maximize saved mass for weaponry and armor. The leg actuators were also reinforced to limit the effectiveness of battle armor and infantry attacks. The Bloodhound's top speed of 119 km per hour made it a tough opponent to outrun, and its 9.5 tons of Duralex armor nearly maxed out the mech's possible protection. Equipped with a Guided Technologies 2nd Gen Streak SRM-6 launcher in the right torso, 3 diverse optics ER medium lasers spread across the left arm, right arm, and head, and a diverse optics ER small laser in the right arm, the Bloodhound could hit at up to 30 damage in a short-range alpha strike. With the mech's 14 double heat sinks, it could fire consistently without any concern of heat buildup, even at a run. Finally, a Beagle active probe was added to the center torso to allow the mech to hunt down troublesome scouts and sneaky groups of insurgents who might be using electronic countermeasures to avoid detection. The Beagle worked in conjunction with the mech's improved sensor package to paint an extremely accurate picture of the mech's immediate environment. Altogether, the Bloodhound is an effective hunter, though we're going to see it's slightly oversynced. As of the last reliable reports in 3064, almost all of the Bloodhounds produced by Earthworks were purchased by and assigned to Free Worlds League military units on planets near the Capellan border and the Chaos March. A few were also spotted among the Lyran Alliance's Freedom Theater. It was determined that these planets would be the most likely candidates for clandestine foreign intervention. If the Capellans, or anyone else, thought that they could drop a small contingent force onto a planet to sow chaos, they were in for a surprise. Beyond the initial deployment information, little is known concerning the success or failure of the Bloodhound in action due to the events of the Word of Blake kerfuffle. We do know that there were 2 official variants for the Bloodhound. The first, designated the B2 HND, was first spotted in 3067, and it reflected a refinement of the loadout. 2 of the double heat sinks were pulled in order to make room for a second ER small laser in the left arm and a Guardian ECM system in the left torso. This variant really highlights just how oversynced the original Bloodhound was, as a full alpha strike with the B2 while on the run still only nets a very modest shift into the red. The addition of the Guardian ECM provides the Bloodhound B2 with just enough stealthiness for an Operation Sneaky Sneak scenario. Between this variant and the original, I think I would go with the B2. The last official variant for the Bloodhound is a more radical refit that pulls all the weapons and equipment except for the Beagle active probe and drops down to just 11 heat sinks. With the powers vested in me as YouTube's most popular BattleTech themed hip-hop country fusion artist, I declare the B3 Bloodhound to be our walking war crime factory. The 2 medium pulse lasers split between the left and right arms aren't a huge problem, but the 4 ER flamers added to the arms sure suggest an inclination to set something or someone ablaze. A B-pod in the center torso was tailor-made to ruin the day of some poor squad of infantry or battle armor, and finally a fluid gun placed into the right arm can spew a variety of noxious substances onto enemies depending upon your taste. Personally, I'm fond of the corrosive ammo, which does 1d6 damage during the attack phase and another 1d6 divided by 2 damage during the end phase of the same turn, all resolved in 1-point clusters. Against conventional infantry, the corrosive ammo inflicts 1d6 damage. Now I know someone out there is thinking, Mech Frog, you can also carry non-weaponized fluids in your fluid gun, and to that I say, we all know no one's putting 2 tons of water into their Bloodhound's fluid gun reservoirs before a battle. Why must we dwell in this land of delusion? Overall, the B3 Bloodhound is a solid performer at extremely close range, though any threat beyond 7 hexes is going to have free reign to shoot at you without response. With any niche battle mech design, when it's put to work for the mission it was built for, it'll probably outperform. Now I did take a crack at creating a totally unofficial and non-canon MF variant for the Bloodhound, though this time I decided to give it the Wolf Empire Clan Tech upgrade treatment. It still weighs 45 tons and has inner sphere endosteel. However, I did grant it the Clan XL engine upgrade to buy the mech a little bit more life on those side torsos. The MF also received an upgrade to 8 tons of Clan ferrofibrous armor. The walking and running speed for the mech hasn't changed, but I did add a full complement of standard jump jets to push the movement profile to 7-11-7. The mission for the MF Bloodhound hasn't changed, though both the ECM suite and the active probe installed into the mech's left torso are now the Clan Tech versions. The Clan medium pulse laser in each arm provide the most direct punches out to 12 hexes, and they are backed up by 2 advanced tactical missile system 3s installed into the right torso. The launcher's 2 tons of ammunition are protected by Case 2. Finally, because it's always better to have one and not need one than need one and not have one, there are 2 Clan ER small lasers located in the center torso and 1 in the mech's head. As far as heat generation goes, the 10 double heat sinks are solid coverage. The Bloodhound MF can consistently stay on the move and fire with most of its weaponry. Usually, these small lasers won't be in play, so just sticking to the primary weapons, they generate 12 heat per turn. While running, that's no problem. You're well within the ability of the heat sinks to deal with that heat. If leaping the full 7 hexes, firing the ATMs, and the medium pulse lasers, that will net the mech 19 heat, which again is great. In close-up situations, the heat may become an issue with the use of the 3 ER small lasers, however, that's a rather minor concern at that point. Overall, I think the Bloodhound MF would be a great scouting and hunting mech for anyone who could get their hands on the technology to make it happen. When it appears impossible to gain the military advantages once so easily apparent, a ruler must ask 2 hard questions of himself or forever be ill at ease. What is the goal? Is it worth the price that will be paid? For myself, I sleep well at nights, able to answer both. So why do we love the Bloodhound? To be honest, I completely forgot this mech existed until it was brought up to me by a channel member who put in the request. It's a solid 45-ton battle mech from Earthworks, and honestly the Free Worlds League could use all the help it could get going into the Ilclan era. It's unknown if the Bloodhound survived the Word of Blake kerfuffle, but hopefully it has. It has great armor, has usable variants, and can pack a punch against lighter targets. What more could you ask for from a hunter-killer 45-ton mech? The Bloodhound is crying out for that CGL reimagining, but I hope they keep a vulpine look to the legs. The cockpit snoot just needs a little bit of work, and personally, I'm not a big fan of placing the most vulnerable portion of the mech right smack dab in the center of mass where most people would aim. But maybe I'm just a complainer. The Bloodhound remains an interesting artifact of Free Worlds League Capellan conflict during the later half of the 31st century, and that's pretty cool. Thank you as always for coming by to talk about some BattleTech stuff. If you had fun and want to see more, the best way is to hit that like and subscribe button so that YouTube knows it's a video worth sharing, and you're more likely to see more of my nonsense in the future. To all those who have become channel members or support through Ko-Fi to more directly support the channel, thank you. I appreciate it more than I can describe. Until we meet again, please take care and go make the world a slightly better place today and tomorrow.